poetry and prompts. So happy to see you on the replay. I am getting set up and I dropped my book on the floor because sometimes that's what happens. We get excited about what's going on and down go our books. So, anyway, welcome here. Um, Today we're going to be reading from a couple different books. We're going to be reading from The Path of Kindness by James Cruz. He's pretty much my favorite poet editor these days. And I need to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi and welcome. Hi, Kelly. I'm sneezing. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever sneezed on a live. That's a first. So we're going to be reading from The Path of Kindness. Thank you for liking the video. And if you're on the replay, please be with us, just like you would if you were live. I'm going to read the poem from this in praise of mystery. This is actually a picture book that's all poetry. So I'm going to read the poem, and at the end, if I still have energy and time, I will share more. This book is by Clint Smith, Above Ground. And if Plainola shows up, I'm going to read a poem from here because it's about New Orleans, and Plainola's from New Orleans. So thank you for being here. We're going to just hop in with some poetry. So my favorite collection for sharing on these live streams. And we're going to start with, I might have read this one poem before, In Praise of Dirty Socks. In Praise of Dirty Socks. Sounds like a strange name for a poem. But I think we'll start with The Mailman, a poem called Mailman. I love when we can share poetry that's just about everyday topics that we would never think there would be poetry about that. But here we go. Each day, the mailman rides to a dutiful stop, slides his hand into the small aluminum tunnel of our mailbox. Hi, Kay, good to see you. I'm going to start again. This poem is called Mailman, and I got all tongue-tied when I was trying to read. So, anyway, we'll start again. Each day the mailman rides to a dutiful stop, slides his hand into the small aluminum tunnel of our mailbox. I wonder if the air feels differently than it did a few years back, all the emails zipping past him like no-see-ums. Sometimes I miss seeing someone's script make its way across the envelope with a sure sense of the steady straight line. And then unfolding the letter, the slight shadows from the creases as I read it, reminding me for a moment of who had folded and tucked the letter into the envelope, sealed it with their tongue, and carried it to a mailbox where it sat with all the other letters in a long silence that could have lasted for days. Thank you, Canro. I appreciate that. What I love about that poem is that it's about mail, and it also makes me want to write letters. I was telling someone, I can't remember who, that suddenly I have a hankering for letter writing again. Letter writing was one of my primary hobbies as a little girl. Loved writing letters. I wrote so many letters, and that's probably part of why I'm a writer today. I would basically be writing the equivalent of a vlog. So anyway, okay, this next one is called The News of Love by David Graham. And there is at the top of the poem, it has a quote from Emily Dickinson that goes like this: "How old the news of love must be. The squirrel on our maple flicks its tail, our dog at his window watching steadily. Love is steady too, and sturdy like a 1,000-year-old tree. They built the house around it. But dumb love's fun too, like the baby laughing nonstop whenever you rip some paper. You feel love more than see it, like the wind on your face. But don't take my word for it. Look instead at shoreline pines, how they all lean one direction, even when there's no wind." I like that visual. Trees all leaning one way. That's the news of love. Okay, so I have a couple of dog poems, and since I am dog sitting, I thought I would share them. The Dogs at Live Oak Beach in Santa Cruz from the West Coast. I got accepted to UC Santa Cruz. I did not go there. I went to University of the Pacific instead. So here we go. The dogs at Live Oak Beach, Santa Cruz. As if there could be a world of absolute innocence in which we forget ourselves. The owners throw sticks and half-balled tennis balls toward the surf, and the happy dogs leap after them as if catapulted. Black dogs, tan dogs, tubes of glorious muscle, pursuing pleasure more than obedience. They race, they skid to a halt in the wet sand. Sometimes they'll plunge straight into the foaming breakers. Like diving birds, letting the green turbulence toss them till they snap and sink, teeth into floating wood, then bound back to their owners, shining wet, with passionate speed for nothing. For absolutely nothing but joy. Catherine, I'm glad you made it. Good to see you, Dana. Yeah, I have tomorrow's is up and ready to go, but I'm glad that you're here. So isn't that something? When you think about dogs, animals, got a text from my son. Dogs will do things for the pure joy. You know, you throw a stick and they run and they leap and they jump, and it's all for the joy. And I'm curious, and I want to ask, what was the last thing you did for pure joy? Put it in the comments, whether you're live or on the replay. If you're on the replay, I'm going to come back and look for what you did for pure joy. I love that. Okay, so I want to say Dana, the cooking mom, is here in the house, and she's doing a lot of things for autism awareness right now. So I just want to let you know about her. She has, you've been around a little bit, Dana, but I always like to highlight people who have not been around as long as everyone else. So it's good to see you. Okay, rescue dog. His name is Jake. Jake comes into sight. 10 pounds of whirling golden fur, legs and feet a blur, released from his leash to greet me, racing toward me. Eyes dark pools shining, ears flapping with his running and jumping up into my arms, onto my shoulder, his body close to my chest, my heart. Tongue lapping everywhere. Doggy kisses, says my friend who lets me share walks with him. Quick breaths, his heart pounding, his body warm and flexible as a gymnast. He drinks water from my hands. He walks us. He explores the scents, the grass, all that he can reach from his reattached leash. He and my friend debate the boundaries. When I have to leave, I turn to watch them go, and Jake turns, looks back again, crooks his head. Where are you going? Aren't you coming with us? I would say dogs are so expectant, aren't they? Kind of like little children. Like, why aren't you coming? Why aren't you coming? you just ironically, I guess I must have known. I guess I must have known, Dana. That's why I was reading dog poetry today. Okay. All right. From dogs to birds. Who wants to hear a bird poem? I'm always up for a bird poem. By the way, if you haven't liked this video, I would be really thrilled if you would. Just tap the like. That helps. And cats just don't care, exactly. I had one cat that was dog-like, and this was the first cat that I had in my Los Angeles apartment. So I was pretty young. I was 22, and I'm embarrassed to say I can't remember her name. But she would wait for me at the door because I had an apartment that you went through one door and then you were in the hallway and then you went through the other door and that was your apartment. And so she would hear me coming in and she would literally be sitting at the door. She was a real cute cat. I've not thought about her in many, many years, but that was like 1985. So it was a long time ago. My first cat, in my other Los Angeles apartment was named LT. LT was a Manx, and LT was married for the Giants linebacker. I think he was a linebacker, Lawrence Taylor, because he was really squat. Lawrence Taylor, the linebacker or football player, wasn't squat, but he was really this Manx cat was large. He had no tail. Yeah. So I love my cats. So here we go. Abundance to share with the birds. Did anyone say about being joyful? Okay, Catherine said, I also can't think of the last time you did something for sure joy. Catherine, there's an assignment. Try something for the joy of it. And now I'm thinking. This is funny text day. LT was named for him. Yeah, my cat LT was named for him. I just got a text from a coworker. So I was texting my sister as I was driving back from having lunch with my friend today. And of course, this area is notorious for the traffic. So my sister was texting me, and I wanted to share with her that tomorrow I'm going to the doctor for my valley fever situation. And so I'm going to a doctor in Maryland who really doesn't. I'm coughing, of course. That's the cause of. Anyway. And so Sue and I, my sister Sue and I had been talking, and then I said, text Sue. And so I left this rambly, you can text using voice. So I rambled on and on about um, how I was going to see the doctor for my valley fever flare up, and I was scared, and blah, blah, blah. And then my sister texted me back, and my sister's name is Sue Jordan. And so I realized I had texted some other Sue with this big, long episode about me going to the doctor. Turns out it was a former coworker. And then I wrote and I said, I'm really sorry. I didn't even know if she knew. I didn't even know if she would have my name still on her phone, but apparently she did because she just texted back saying, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. And I'm like, oh, Sue. I miss those coworkers sometimes. Anyway, let's get back to the birds. Here we go. Another early morning in front of the bathroom mirror. My daughter making faces at herself while I pull back her long brown hair, gathering the breadth and shine in my hands, brushing and smoothing before weaving the braid she will wear to school for the day. Afterwards, stray strands nestle in the brush, and because nothing of beauty is ever wasted, I pull them out, stand on the front porch, and let them fly. Thinking it might become part of a nest. Hey, Evie's in the house. Evie, so good to see you. Tracy, fabulous to see you. Look at my favorite people coming in. Okay. This poem, the next one is kind of bittersweet. It's beautiful, so I would love for you to take it in. And this book is about kindness. And so the question that I'll ask you all is, do we see our own eyes in the eyes of hurting people? That's a question. Do we ever see our own eyes in the eyes of hurting people? And ironically, if you watch Pam's videos, this is Pam. She had one recently where her husband Dylan told a story of how he helped someone. And her oversharing series. And I commented back, another one that I used my voice to text, because I listen to her when I drive sometimes because she has great stories. And it's easy sometimes for me to just, as I'm driving, to listen to people who have like podcast style sort of videos. And I went on and on about how I've helped unhomed people quite a bit. I'm one of those people who does that. And I talked about how sometimes I I told her a specific story of how one time I helped, the first time I ever helped an unhomed person, I was their rape old age of 25. And the reason that I helped her was when she looked into my eyes and she asked me for help. When I looked back at her, all I could see was myself. And she had a very weathered face from being outside. And she was probably 30 and I was 25. I was pretty privileged. So she had blonde hair, very sunburned skin, and I helped her. So here we go. And this also takes place in California. It's called For the Korean Grandmother on Sunset Boulevard. So, you are here. Night comes as it does elsewhere. Light pulls slowly away from telephone posts. Shadows of buildings darken the pavement like something spilled. Even the moon seems to turn its face. And again you find yourself on this dark riverbed, this asphalt miracle, holding your end of a rope that goes slack when you tug it. on the bus. Such grief you bear alone. But wait, just now a light approaches. Its rich band draws you forward out of the shadow. It is here, the bus that will ferry you home. Go ahead, grandmother. Go on. Okay. And this one, that's kind of heavy. But I want you to think about that. Just like I asked you to think about when's the last time. So I'll ask people who just came in. When is, oh, bye, Kelly. Bye. I hope to talk to you soon. I'm hoping that we get together Saturday. Kelly and I have been emailing because I'm in the general vicinity, so. Okay. Hi, living my best life. So I asked earlier about when's the last time you did something for the joy of it. So if you have a story of when you did something for the joy of it, I would love it if you would put it in the comments. And this one is, this is a story of accepting help from someone. And I don't know about all y'all, but oftentimes I will, when someone offers to help me, I'll say, no, it's okay, I'm fine. This poem reminds us to accept help. Gas Station Communion is the name of the poem. It was a little thing, really, this offer to fill my tire. I was unscrewing the valve cap and heard a voice behind me. Here, I'll get that for you. Oh, that's okay, I've got it, is what I normally say to such overtures. This knee-jerk reaction to refuse. I am the one who offers to help. I am the one who serves. Perhaps it was the eager spirit in his face or his brown eyes full of hopeful connection that caused me to say okay. I felt the vibration of his unspoken benediction. I can't do much for you, fellow weary traveler, but I can do this. Lay down your burden, and I will carry it for a bit. And I couldn't help but wonder how many times I have denied someone's blessing of serving because I have been too stubborn to accept their gift. As I was standing there in the sun-drenched gas station parking lot, the hiss and tick of the air pump sounded very much like a psalm. I watched his hands filling more than just my tire with air, while goodness and grace swirled around us. Oh my goodness. And I saw this, Ishiben, hi, hello, hello. I don't know if you're still here, but hello. Miss M, you're in the house. So happy to see you, Miss M. You hike for the joy of it. Oh, and Kevin says, and Kane Rose says, I hike for the joy of it, even when it's not fun anymore. And yeah, it is joyful. It is joyful, I would say. Being outside is joyful. In fact, on a video coming out on Monday, I'm not doing any more long forms until Monday. And on Monday, my video has a short hike, incredible view on it. Like one of the most incredible views I've experienced in recent past. And I felt so much joy being out there. I'm not going to say exactly where it was. But from the trailhead to the place where I got that great view it's only 3/10 of a mile. So a little more than a half a mile back and forth on the trail. Although to get there you have to walk a bit, but it was just fantastic. That'll be on Monday. Yes, Miss M, we're glad you're doing okay. We're always happy to see you. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you do have to fake it till you make it. And I would say I have a lot of people right now who are going through stuff. So it's not always fun to be in good company for sadness, but for me it's like, okay, somehow it's easier to bear if I know other people are also having rough times. Yeah. Okay, so I love that poem, that gas station attendant poem, and I'm hopeful that that makes you think about accepting help, being more ready to accept help. Thank you for liking this video, by the way. I appreciate that. Okay, this is a good one. This poem is like an assignment. It's called A Great Wild Goodness. A Great Wild Goodness. One morning I was looking out the window when a great wild goodness came over me. I wanted to be kind to everything. I promised not to kill the big spider on the wall. In the cold, I took the dog for a long walk she'd been wanting. I fetched a trash can lid for an ornery neighbor and did not, just then, add a single adjective to his name. I went back inside to the laundry and dishes with a clean heart such as I had never had. Before dinner, the wild goodness shouted, "Too tame, too tame!" So I went outside without my coat and shouted poems up to the stars until my children came home with their small, warm hands. Then we ate bread in the kitchen, unafraid to be happy. The stars in the wild darkness were right over our heads. Yes, isn't it true? Sometimes we struggle with accepting help. We struggle with asking for help. We struggle with those things. And in reading that poem, I got caught up in the great wild goodness because I was imagining joy that we just talked about. And when I was pregnant with Emma, very pregnant at the end, I remember lying on my front lawn of my house. I was big as a house. And my two other daughters, my daughter Catherine and my foster daughter, we all laid out like at night on the lawn in Bakersfield because it's so hot. But laying on the grass somehow felt cooler, and it was August, and just looking up at the sky. I always feel very refreshed looking up at the sky. Yes, this one totally hit me in the field. Dane, I'm an autism mom too. I don't know if you know that. I think I might have mentioned it. But I understand what that's like too. It's hard to ask for help sometimes. Yeah, that one did get me. Like, and I was so surprised. But as I was saying to Miss M, I'm going through some stuff. And it's not that I'm trying to mask that or not be honest about it, but I have some stuff going on that makes me a little bit nervous and scared. I have a hard time asking for help, but I'm trying to get better at it. Okay. Okay. All right. I have a lot of questions for you with these poems. I took notes. Also, if you are a writer of any kind, you can write about these things we're talking about. Jot yourself a note. And, or if you want to have an interesting conversation, you could ask someone, when was the last time you experienced pure, unadulterated joy? And see what comes out. You could even put with that, what is a time from, the last 5 years where you experienced unadulterated joy? So, okay. And that did. Poetry can really get us, can't it? So this is called No Small Thing. Okay. The smell of baking bread, smooth, floured hands, butter waiting to be spread with blackberry jam, and I realize this is no small thing. These days spent confined, I am drawn to life's ordinary details, the largeness of all we can do alongside what we cannot. The list of allowances far outweighs my complaints. I am fortunate to have flour and yeast, a source of heat, not to mention soft butter, the tartness of blackberries harvested on a cold back road. A kitchen, a home, 2 working hands to stir and knead, a clear enough head to gather it all in. Even the big toothy knife feels miraculous as it grabs hold and cracks the crust. That's no small thing. So just the smell of bread, the way your hands feel when they're floured, and then butter and blackberry jam. And these poems, a lot of them were written during the pandemic. So imagine the poet being home alone baking bread, because we were doing all kinds of stuff like that when we were at home alone. So it's no small thing. Yes, I love homemade bread too. So the question I ask is, what is your no small thing? One of my no small things is I love when I slide nice fluffy socks on my feet. I love that feeling. Or when I tie up my sneakers. I really love that. Um, I also had blackberry jam yesterday. I haven't had blackberry jam for a long time, but I was at if there's anyone here from the Washington area, Washington D.C. area, I went to a place called Busboys and Poets. Might just be my new favorite place. A friend of mine suggested it, and wow, she really knew a place that I would enjoy. And I had a bagel with, and I had blackberry jam that was so delicious. Yes, Evie says sometimes we have to have something taken away before we understand gratitude. It's true. It's definitely true. Let me see if I have any Ross Gay in here. Um, Ross Gay is an amazing poet, and he has a whole big poem, a lot of poems about gratitude. Anyway, if I can't find him here, I might not have him. Amazing. And I think during the pandemic, we all learned that. Oh, so what makes you happy is when your cat jumps on your lap. Um, we do have a lot of cat lovers in the room. Thank you for that insight too, Abby. That's very true. Okay, there is a Ross Gay poem in here. One thing about this book is that it is all done thematically, so sometimes you have to really look to find. It's not alphabetical. Let's see. Let's see if I can find him. I looked at the biographies. That's how I know he's in here somewhere. He could be hiding from me. All right, I tell you what. We will just keep reading, and then I'll look again. Oh, Ross Gay, where are you? Okay. But there's one coming up. You're born. Oh, how's doggy daycare going, Catherine? That basset hound and doggy daycare. I hope it's going well. And Dana has a cat also. Okay, so I want to read this by William Stafford because it's called "You Reading This, Be Ready." Okay, so I'm reading it, but you're listening to it. So you hearing this, be ready. Whew. Okay. This is kind of in the heart of Ram Dass, if you know Ram Dass. Starting here, what do you want to remember? How sunlight creeps along a shining floor? What scent of old wood hovers? What softened sound from outside fills the air? Will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respect that you carry wherever you go right now? Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? When you turn around, starting here, lift this new glimpse that you found. Carry into evening all that you want from this day. This interval you spend reading or hearing this, keep it for life. What can anyone give you greater than now, starting here, right in this room, when you turn around? What can anyone give you greater than now, starting here, right in this room, when you turn around? Yeah, it's true. I would say Miss M talking about her lab. What's better than the black lab turning around and getting on your lap because he thinks she's a puppy? Catherine says we're taking it back to doggy daycare on Saturday. Labs are really good dogs. I grew up with labs. Okay, starting here, what do you want to remember? That's also a really good prompt. It's a good way to think about your day, what you'd like to, we do the gratitude and intention. Sometimes when I'm working with clients, I will say, when you're looking back at this month, so at the end of what month we're in? April, almost over. When you're looking back at April, what do you want to remember? What do you want to remember from April? Because a really sad thing is when you're at the end of the year and you can't remember anything that you did or anything that happened. And for me, it's important that I remember, especially the highlights. So, grace, grit, and grow. Remember the light at the top of the mountain. Oh, that's beautiful. Want to remember the light at the top of the mountain instead of remembering the darkness. Evie wants to remember when the cast gets off. No more cast. No more cast. Do you still have your cast, Evie? I hope it's gone. That's worthy of celebration. Okay, we've been here for half an hour. I'll read, let's see. Okay, this is a good one too. Oh, until Tuesday. So it'll be off because the last day of the month is Thursday. So a week from today is the last day of the month. So that's good. That will be exciting. I think we'll hear your laughter rising up all over the country. This poem is called Come In. Come In. It was the neighbor at the back door with a Vidalia onion in each hand, straight from the 10-pound sack the Shriners were selling, or the Rotarians, or Oddfellows, or one of those antique civic organizations of great uncles atoning for their sins on a just-in-time basis. Come in! And she did, smiling. The 15 months of COVID had given those simple words a radical new meaning, and assertiveness even. I felt I was tearing up a contract I never wanted to sign. Membership in an HOA, maybe. Pale yellow onions, too clean to have come from the soil, surely. Too sweet to make you cry. Okay. We'll read one more. This is the last one, y'all, so let's make it good. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you, thank you. Oh, Brussels sprout. Hello, Brussels sprout. Good to see you. Yeah, you will. You will hear Evie celebrating all the way from Indiana. She'll be in her part of the world, and you in Indiana. Me, I'll be in New Jersey. It'll be a very exciting moment. Okay, here we go. Whew. Still life with ladder. Today, the sky saved my life. Caught between smoked rum and cornflower. Today there is a color I can't name cruising past the back door. It is the idea of color. Cloudscapes evaporate like love songs across lost islands, each a small bitcoin of thought. Today I am alive, and this is a good thing. Clams in the half shell, a lemon rosemary tart. I live in the day, and the day lives past me. If I could draw a map of the hours, a long horizon would travel on indefinitely. A green, backlit thread. The sky? It is never the same. It is sour milk and whipped cream, a sketchbook and flour-dusted jeans. Today I'm in love with the sky. It doesn't care if my father is dead or that I live by myself with a Masonic watch. I sew time with my mother's button jar. I've improvised my life. Let the sky pull the strings. Tonight I will borrow the golden ladder from the orchard, travel from this sphere into the next, and expunge the leftover sadness of the hemispheres to move beyond the beyond, which is here, present, alive in this hyacinth room. Time leaps over itself, after and out of the tangled past, over shadows of weather, falling across a back window, to forgive one another, to try once more to live it right. To try once more to live it right. Today I am alive, and this is a good thing. I'm enjoying that line. I also see that Addie is here. Addie, hello, so good to see you. I am live, Addie. That's so funny. Hey, do y'all know Addie? Addie's a friend of mine. I've known her for years from her podcast, and she's here in the house. It was a great one to end with. So I underlined in the book, today I'm alive, and that is a good thing. So good to celebrate the fact that we are alive. Whew. I'm so grateful for all of you who are here today. It is a pleasure and a joy to have each person here listening to poetry. I never know if people will show up to listen to poetry, so it feels like a gift for you all to do that. If you see Planola around, oh, I forgot I didn't read this one poem. Well, I will show it. I'll show you the book again, and we'll read it next time. And also, I'll tell Planola he needs to show up so I can read the New Orleans poem. But this book, In Praise of Mystery, it's a picture book, but the poem is, luckily, because I was like, how am I going to do this? I have the whole poem like that. And this poem was actually, it wasn't in the most recent space launch or whatever, but it was sent up in the satellite that went by Jupiter most recently. And Ada Limon, our former poet laureate, wrote this poem that traveled on that rocket. So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Addie, for showing up for me. And Miss M, I'm so glad you came, and I think you really enjoyed the poetry. I love it when you come and hear the poetry. And we're all happy you're here. Yeah, Dana, I agree. And Dana, if ever you feel like you need, I'm glad I can talk. If ever you feel like you need someone to talk to about being an autism mom, you can talk to me at any time. One of the things that when my child was young, there were a lot of things I didn't know how to navigate myself, and I just wish that I had a mom who'd been through it to talk to. And sometimes I would bring up subjects, and none of the other parents want to talk about it. When your child gets to be towards puberty, I was like, somebody help! How do I do this? I'm a single mom. How do I talk to my son about this? I don't know if your child is a son or a daughter, but I was like, I don't have any idea how to speak to him about these things. And we got through it. You know, he is a quite fabulous young man now. So yes, definitely unique challenges, Addie. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Dana said sometimes I feel like I'm drowning sometimes with my son. I felt the same way. I felt the same way. So, all right. Thank you all for being here. I'm really tired. I always get tired after my live. So, um, oh, you're welcome, Addie. I'm glad you were here. I'm really glad you were here. So every Thursday, 4:30 is our time now. 4:30 Pacific time or Eastern. 4:30 Eastern. We're also going to have tomorrow morning 8:30 Eastern. We're going to take good care. Oh, yay, Addie. We'll be looking for you here live on YouTube, right? Yep, we'll see you tomorrow morning. What time, Addie? I know you're on Hawaiian time, but hopefully I'll look. I'll look. Okay. Take good care, and we'll see you all sooner rather than later. Bye now.